my favorite class today. Today, boys and girls, we're going to talk about hurricanes, sometimes called cyclones, or what's the other word used in Asia? Typhoons, sometimes called typhoons. They are a big disturbance in the air, and we would generally refer to them as storms. Okay, so what can I tell you about hurricanes? Well, hurricanes form in our area, in our part of the world, and I'll keep everything specific to the North Atlantic because that's where we live, about mid-latitude North Atlantic. They start in the southern Atlantic and move up towards us. They are big storms that rotate in a counterclockwise pattern. You will remember when we did ocean currents and wind currents, you will remember the clockwise theme. Ocean currents along the in the North Atlantic move in a clockwise fashion. We have the Gulf Stream that moves from the Gulf of Mexico up along our coast, and then it goes across. It's blended off of Newfoundland with the Labrador current, so it changes its dynamics. So oceanographers refer to the current then as the North Atlantic current. The North Atlantic current travels across the North Atlantic, hits Ireland, part of it goes north, part of it goes south. The part that goes south goes down around the Canary currents, or the Canary Islands, hence the name the Canary Current. And the name switches again, or the dynamics change somewhat again, and it's a new current that forms north of the equator. The shape of the ocean bottom pushes that into, or the ocean basin pushes that into the Gulf of Mexico, where it changes dynamics again, and it becomes the Gulf Stream current that moves up along our area, the North Atlantic. Hurricanes form in the southern part of the Atlantic, and they move up into our waters. What else can I tell you? How they form. Generally, when the waters are really warm in the South Atlantic, we get thunderstorms. And generally, when we get thunderstorms, they pull atmospheric air up into the upper atmosphere, and that starts a process. And the process starts to form a thunderstorm, or a hurricane as we know it. So what happens is an area, we have water, so thunderstorms form above the surface of the water, and they cause an effect where air gets sucked into the upper atmosphere. And that starts a hurricane. Its direction is counter-rotational to the ocean currents. It is counterclockwise. So the air funneled up travels into the upper atmosphere. And this creates the hurricane. The hurricane has an eye. The eye of the hurricane is anywhere from, 25 to 50 kilometers maybe, depends on the source you reference. So 25 to 50 in width. Surrounding this is rain bands, and the entire thing rotates in a counterclockwise pattern. So when you're looking at it there, the whole thing would be rotating around in a sort of counterclockwise pattern. Now, wind speed is its highest in this part of the hurricane, or typhoon, or cyclone, whatever you want to call it, is the highest there. It doesn't get classified as a hurricane until wind speeds exceed, I think it's 120, 118 kilometers an hour, and that's measured on the Saffir-Simpson wind scale. And that's the international standard used by, in our area, in North America, it would be the international standards, and the big body that keeps tabs on these sort of atmospheric disturbances would be NOAA, and it's an American organization called the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Association. That's what NOAA stands for, and they use this Saffir-Simpson scale. This hurricane reaches its classification as a hurricane when the winds here exceed 118 kilometers an hour, I believe it is. That's categorized or classified as a Category 1 hurricane. There are 5 categories of hurricanes, each one with an increasing wind speed. For example, Category 1 goes from about 118, 119 kilometers to about 150 kilometers. So a hurricane of that wind speed is classified as Category 1. When the wind speed exceeds 150 kilometers an hour, it's between 150 and I think it's 175 kilometers an hour. That's Category 2. When it's 175 to 200, I think is Category 3. When it's 200 to 250 is the Category 4. And over 250 kilometers an hour, if a hurricane exceeds wind speeds here, exceed 250 kilometers an hour, it's considered Category 5, or the strongest of hurricanes. So hurricanes in the Atlantic start in the southern Atlantic, they move up the seaboard to our area, our part of the world. What else can I tell you? So some of the biggest hurricanes you people might not remember, but your parents would for sure. One of the biggest hurricanes to hit this area was Hurricane Juan. Hurricane Juan is a Spanish name. It means John in English. Hurricane Juan hit about 2003, I think it was, and it was a Category 2 hurricane. And it caused massive damage throughout the province of Nova Scotia. How hurricanes are named. Hurricanes are named according to a scale, according to a system that NOAA uses for the North Atlantic. So in the North Atlantic, we have, we have, for 2001, we have a system of names. I wrote some of them down. 2001, our hurricanes are going to be named Anna for the first one, Bill for the second one, Claudette for the third, Elsa for the fourth, Fred for the fifth, and Grace for the second, or for the next. And it goes on in alphabetical order. There are a series of names put together over 6 years, and they keep rotating. So next year, in 2022, it will be Alex will be the first one, Bonnie will be the second one, Colin will be the third hurricane in the North Atlantic, Danielle will be the fourth hurricane in the North Atlantic. They go through the same names every 6 years. 6 years, they rotate back to whatever, like in 2021, in 2027, they will use those same names again. If there is one hurricane that stands out, there was massive damage. It was a very pronounced hurricane. You know, it was high in the categories list. And there was massive damage. They will take that name out of use and they will replace it with another name. What else can I tell you? One of the major causes of death in relation to hurricanes, because hurricanes start over the ocean, they affect places that are close to the ocean the most. And because of that, storm surge is of great concern with hurricanes. I think storm surge causes the vast majority of deaths in relation to hurricanes. National Geographic, for example, magazine quotes it at 90%. 90% of the death caused from hurricanes or typhoons or cyclones is based upon storm surge. Storm surge is a rise in sea level. It's usually attributed to low pressure. So a hurricane causes low atmospheric pressure. It causes water to rise up. It can be, if it's in combination with spring tides or it's in combination with lunar events in relation to tides, there can be catastrophic effects, because you have a spring tide which raises tidal height. In addition to a hurricane which raises tidal height again, you can end up with tides as high as 6 meters, which is way above normal. Surges at 6 meters. Well, that's it for our lesson on hurricanes today, boys and girls. Hope you learned a lot.